Hello and welcome to another episode of Intune.training, the place to learn how to use Microsoft Intune. The Steve and Adam Show with Steve and Adam. What's up, buddy?
So I'm Steve, and that's Adam.
Oh, you got it right
How's it
this
going?
time. Hey,
I
pretty
did.
good.
Yeah, we're shaking it up a little bit. Yeah. That
General
way.
direction. Yeah. We're going to keep doing this. Apparently, that's just the thing at this point.
This
Hey,
week, anyway.
Steve. All right. We are continuing on the journey of doing all of the different provisioning profiles and methods for all the different types of devices. We just finished recording using Apple Configurator on the iPhone to upload a device to ABM. So if you haven't seen that one, go check it out. So this video, we are going to do personal device enrollment. So this is going to be a personal managed phone that we're going to then, we're going to get this enrolled into Intune straight away. So I would suggest that
what I was going to say is this is the personal BYOD registered into your tenant. You don't need to do this. Technically, if you're doing MAM, you don't need to connect, application protection policies, you don't need to register it. But what we're doing is we're showing you that registration process. We'll definitely go over application protection policies at another time. Where you don't need to have the device registered. It will just work on any device that your users attempt to authenticate from.
So I would imagine, I don't know about the MAM tunnel thing, but I do know for if we were to do there are certain applications that we can purchase and or own and deploy, or custom applications that we manage from our Intune tenant or from AVM, really, that we could deploy to users via company portal.
Correct.
This would be a scenario where you would want to do such a thing. So even though it's a personal phone, it's you can do all the things with MAM, but I can't get this app to you unless you enroll into our tenant through company portal. Would be one of the great scenarios for this.
Or I want to push down a Wi-Fi profile because there's spotty internet connections at the site that you're working on, and I want to be able to rotate the password, save you having to put it in constantly, just sign in with your Windows account and away you go. Yep. So there's a couple of really important scenarios as to why you want to do this, but also understand once you do this, it means that your admins have the ability to wipe that device. So
you have less. Okay, so I wanted to make that distinction. Apple has a supervised device mode. The only way a device can become supervised is if it's uploaded into ABM. It has to be registered in Apple Business Manager, and that has to occur before you provision the device. It has to be provisioned through Setup Assistant from the very beginning. There is a caveat to that. I won't go down that just yet. What we're going to do is enroll a device using company portal, which means the device will not be supervised once enrolled or ever. There's no way to supervise the device in this state. And the lack of supervision on the device automatically creates an administrative layer gap there on what you can and cannot do between a fully managed supervised phone and a personally owned enrolled phone. So keep that in mind. There are some differences on what you can and can't do there. And the only way to get around that is the device has to go through ABM. Now, there's a caveat to this that we've discovered where we are in the process of migrating from one MDM to another. And some users have a desire to do an iCloud backup and restore. And what we found is that if you back up, so if you're going to do a same device migration, so I want to take an existing device, I'm going to have to wipe it. So it's ABM enrolled, ABM registered, everything. If I back it up to iCloud and I remove it from the previous MDM before that backup happens, and then I wipe the device and do a restore, the restore process does not allow you to do the MDM enrollment phase of the Setup Assistant. So you have to then go through company portal to enroll the device. The difference there is that the device does not lose its supervision status. From Apple's perspective, you were supervised when we backed you up, and so now you will be supervised again as soon as you enroll back into another MDM, or even if you re-enrolled back into the same MDM. So same deal, but we kept fighting this, trying to understand, like, why isn't this working right? And we finally discovered that was the deal. You had to go back through Company Portal in order to do the re-enrollment into MDM. If you do,
that's because
restore,
it needs to reissue the certificates, and there's a whole workflow.
But it only does it if you restore back to the same exact device that the backup came from. You can do a backup from a supervised device or previously supervised device. That's wrong. MDM managed device.
Yes.
You can do a backup and restore to a different phone, and that isn't the case. You can do the MDM enrollment at that point. So just keep that in mind. I know I'm kind of going off on a different tangent, but there is a scenario where enrolling through Company Portal does get you supervised.
Very impressed, Adam. It took us 2 minutes to go off on a tangent.
Hey, it's an important tangent because we've been living this one, so we want to make sure people know.
I hear you. I completely agree. So what we have set up today, now that we've gone down that awesome tangent, that is very interesting and useful.
Oh, shut up. Come on.
No, it was. I'm just giving Adam a bit of grief. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and connect into our new shiny iPhone 15 as we went through in the last
Shouldn't do this yet, Steve.
We shouldn't do this yet? What do we need to do first, Adam?
We need to go into the Intune portal and go look at the enrollment, the device enrollment profiles.
So if we go over to Adam's screen, he's going to step us through.
Okay. So and they've just recently rebuilt this screen, which is neat.
They have.
Enrollment. Yep. We go to Apple, and we can go to device platform restrictions, I believe is the one we want. And what you want to ensure is, so right now we've created a block personal, but we have it unassigned. So the default of all users is currently set to allow, and then we've got macOS personally owned block, but everything else is allowed, and it's targeting all devices.
Don't do what we do.
No, definitely. And this is not.
Note that's all devices.
Yeah.
But anyway,
in fact, you can't actually change the targeting. You can change the settings, but there is a hierarchy to this. I think we talked about this early on.
We've definitely talked about this.
Yep. So the point here was just make sure that you do enable personal device enrollment and target it to the groups of users that you want to allow this to work on before you go through this. Otherwise, this won't work. In our case, it's already open. It's already going to work. Just wanted to make sure that we were in a good shape there. So
no, and that's a really good call out, Adam, because the default for a lot of organizations is to block personal. And what you can do is you can sit there and assign that policy to a security group, and you can say, well, these users have the ability to bring personal devices in. These ones don't. So there are mitigating circumstances as to why you want to go down that route and not, et cetera, et cetera. So here's our shiny phone. As you can see, there is no company portal. There's no authenticator app. If we go to general, all the way down the bottom, if we go to device and VPN, there is no VPN or device management profile associated with the device, just to show you where it's at. So we're just going to close out of that, and we're going to go to the App Store. In here, we're going to wait for it to load up. Oh, that's an interesting one. So I'm connected via network cable on this device. And stay up to date, sure. For some reason, it just didn't accept it for the moment. So it could well be just my network connection's a little bit iffy. So we're going to search here for company portal. As we all know, that's how we actually set it all up. Make sure you select the Intune company portal, and we're going to hit get on that. And we go through, we double click, we do our Face ID to make sure we're happy days and we're all secure, because everybody has Face ID set up. And this will go through and it will go, and it's already installed, and we're going to hit open. And we sign in. and we go sign into training. And I love that how Apple handles this. In that you don't see the keyboard up there. It doesn't show you the characters that are being put in. It goes, oh, okay, I'm projecting onto another screen. I'm just going to quickly MFA onto from my other device with the character of 64. And that should go and authenticate. And you'll see that we're going to go, yep, cool, send us notifications, definitely want to get that. And we're just going to, let's not rush through it. We're going to review the privacy. We're downloading the management profile. So this is going to download the management profile blob from Intune onto the device. And this is where you need to have already pre-set up your certificate, which we did in a previous video. And it's now going to just go and do that validation to make sure everything is happy. So here's our profile being downloaded. You'll see that we need to hit allow. We click close, and now we need to go to settings, which I don't have open. And we go to general, VPN and device management profile. And you'll see here we have a management profile to install. We hit install. We put in our magical passcode that you don't get to see, which is nice and easy, right? We hit install again, and it's going through that enrolling certificate mode. You'll see that it's installing the root certificate for the Microsoft Intune certificate authority and what it's trying to connect to, which is down underneath the bottom, which is the i.manage.microsoft.com endpoint. So we're just going to trust that because we do trust it. Inside here, if we look at more details on that management profile, is you'll see that we've got a SCEP profile being deployed, as well as, which is going to be the default Microsoft certificate for the scale unit that we're working on, and the management profile certificates associated. If we go back, we go done, it's now set up, and we're going to go back to the company portal, and we're going to hit continue. Now, management profile is installed. As you can see, it has the green tick. We're going to hit check device settings. So this will go through doing and applying the compliance policy that's being deployed to the device to make sure that that's actually compliant. So this is where if you've set up your device without a PIN code, or you've done things that your organization doesn't necessarily want allowed, you can block that. The other thing to note is because this is not registered through Apple Business Manager and associated apps, you're going to get prompted to install some applications. So in this scenario, we're being prompted to install the the Microsoft Authenticator app, which is downloading here from the store automatically. So we said, yep, go and install it, happy days. And that's why we got the error here. Unable to set up an email on device because the Apple config or the Microsoft Authenticator hadn't set up. So we're going to retry that again. And it's probably going to go, hey, go sign into Microsoft Authenticator and happy days. But that's pretty much it. We're just going to wait for this to pop up.
So
did I miss anything, Adam?
Well, so what I'd like to do is once you have the device enrolled, I'd like to show it in Intune side by side with a supervised device so that we can see the functional differences between them. So is that working? Almost there?
I'm guessing I need to go and open the Microsoft Authenticator app. Accept, continue, add work or school.
I didn't think you had to have Authenticator unless it's a restriction in our tenant.
I think it's new. Yep. because of how the user object's been set up. Finished. So now if we go back to company portal, it should auto sign in because it should pass the Microsoft Authenticator. And there you go. Now it's loading the company resources. And it's still saying you can't set up emails. But that could be.
You may have hit your maximum device restrictions, so we need to put you into either to remove a device or put you in the device enrollment managers group.
I've deleted a whole heap of the devices, and we've put our limit. I thought we put that up very high.
Oh, we may have. I'll check, make sure. But
have we deployed any other profiles to the device? What's the user?
Remove your work email account from the device so it can be set up correctly. I've never seen this before, Steve.
I haven't either. Oh.
Is that how you set it up with ABM or something?
So I've used my Apple ID, my Intune training as the Apple ID for this, which is where it's probably automatically set up.
Oh, Steve, you've got a managed Apple ID.
I don't though, because we unmanaged it. Remember?
I think yours is managed.
No, we unmanaged it.
Come on.
When we recreated the tenant.
Okay. Well, whatever. Remove your Apple ID. You don't have to have one.
Correct. Now that we've got everything we need on there.
Uh-huh. This is always fun. We always run into curveballs. It's great.
So now you can see that it's not set up, and we're going to.
I love how I've never. We stop there. Aeroplane mode. That just caught my eye because ours says airplane mode, and that's just anyway. Whatever. It's always funny.
Yeah. There's also differences in Windows between the EN US and the EN UK Ubi screens, which is quite entertaining. It adds the into the UX on the first page.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. Yeah, so obviously I've done something wrong on this device, and the help file doesn't help us out with that.
Stand by. I've got another phone. I'm going to try it.
It's actually, this is my phone. Let's see. I don't have it set up. Let's just close out. And we're just forcing it to retry again.
Oh, dang. I don't have an Apple ID. Well, this one was supposed to be easy.
Yeah, it is reasonably easy. What you should see here is it should just go through. But reusing the same email address everywhere can cause some issues as you're seeing. Let's go and do this. Because it could also be that we actually set a compliance policy that's causing the issue. So if we go here, properties, Hey, look. Does that look like something we've done here?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, it literally wants you to remove your email from the device. Weird.
So you have to have a managed email, which we don't have. And that's why it's done that.
So it's the opposite of, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Well, try that then.
Yep. So we've just turned that off. And we're just going to review and save. And that would explain why it was failing at that compliance component, not actually at the usage component.
Yeah.
So you'll see here, and if we hit retry, it might take a minute for it to resync the profile, but once it resyncs that profile, we should be happy days. So what I'm doing behind the scenes is I'm just hitting the resync button to see if I can get it to sync through. But this is actually working. We don't have any apps or anything deployed to this device. And as you can see, my Android, all my other devices, other than my VM that I'm working on right now, are non-compliant or having issues because, well, I haven't really paid attention to them. So if we go here, we select this phone and we hit done, check status. So that check status option is going and getting the latest policies for this device, and then it will force it to go through the process. You'll note down the bottom under notifications that just changed to 3 because we're now saying we're going and grabbing that. And look, it's now saying it's compliant and can access company resources. So it was a setting that we had defined, and that's where it's having that managed account. So that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, hey, that's...
You can sit there and say you can't access a device unless it's a managed account, which is
note
actually
to
pretty
self,
cool.
don't flippantly select all the buttons.
Yeah.
Okay, so real fast then. We've already dragged this one out too much. I won't drag it on too much longer, but real fast. Since we're talking about supervised versus unsupervised. So looking in the columns here, so I'm trying to do them side by side. I know it's kind of shrunken view here, but hopefully you can follow along. So here's a supervised device, and here's an unsupervised device. I'm going to show them side by side, and what I want to show is on the supervised device on the left, I see all these options, and on the unsupervised device, I don't see several different options. So there are things you can and cannot do depending on how the device has been enrolled. And so, you know, for us, you know, looking at like, hey, I've got devices out in the field that someone, you know, sales guy went and got, and now from a store, and he's enrolled it manually, and now I can't manage it fully. I can't do all the things I want to do to it. I can't locate the device. Actually, we can't in either one, it seems.
That's because we haven't got that enabled.
Oh, okay, yeah. But so anyway, there are features that you can and can't do. In fact, I would be surprised if this wipe actually works.
Let's find out. Do it.
Here we go. Preview.
So
Also
Adam's hit
remove
the wipe.
Okay, I'm gonna hit wipe.
And I'm just going to flick over to my screen, and I'm going to go and speed up the process. Hey, look, that did something. All it did was, oh no, there we go.
Okay, so
it does still wipe, and be very careful when you do that, because if your end users have registered their own personal devices, you just lost all of their data. In saying that, and this is the important thing, all of that data is typically stored in the cloud. So them doing that is not actually a major issue.
But you still just pissed them off, potentially.
You've still freaked them out and lost their where they're up to on Candy Crush and things like that.
So I'm going to show one more quick thing here. So so you'll notice the device does come in as personal here.
Yes.
And
you won't be able to get to it anymore because
we've already killed it. Well, oh well. So that's neat too. So you also find that you cannot change the device ownership. I can change a corporate one to personal.
I thought you could change personal to corporate. You just have to notify the end user, or you have to do it on the device.
Yeah, maybe that's. Oh shoot! See, now I can't prove it, and I don't want to spout the wrong thing. But there was some deal on being able to change it. Like maybe the user can change it from there, but I don't know if we can push it from here. But also there is a docs page that talks through device restrictions, and it explicitly calls out all of the different things that require supervised mode. And so the point here is that if you're building out, or when you're building out your policies, you should absolutely use filters at a minimum, and or build specific groups based on personal devices and corporate devices, but create groups based on the device category of being or device ownership being personal or not. We haven't actually gone through categories, have we? But you can do device. Well, here you go. So device ownership equals personal. We can do preview, and it would show us any of the devices. So his is still ghosting out there. And so now we've got a filter that we can then use when we're applying all of our policies to devices. And so this will prevent us from assigning things to devices that we don't want assigned to them. And then just while we're here on the app stuff, I mentioned the deal on being able to assign applications to the personally owned devices. So you'll notice that for this app, I can only assign it to available for enrolled devices. But if I choose one that was just a iOS store app, maybe.
So you want to zoom that in a little bit there, Adam? Just
oh yeah, sorry. I'll do that. There we go. Well, too much probably now. So let me slow down. Okay, so we've got apps that you've purchased through ABM, which are going to be these guys, iOS volume purchase program apps. And the deal with these is when you push them down to the device, they'll go down silently, and they won't ask the user. They'll just install. That's not all, but that's one of the main reasons that I like doing them. But if you make an app like this, the company portal app, available as an iOS store app, not a VPP store app, then when you go to assign it, it's available with or without enrollment. And that's not actually what I was thinking I was going to see there. So I knew there was a second class. I wasn't sure what it was tied to. So you could effectively allow a user to connect to company portal and install applications without being enrolled into Intune, but you could still advertise applications to them through their company portal. So I think I'm saying that right.
Yes. And also, if you use the iOS store app option, what will actually happen is the users will be prompted to install each of the applications.
Correct. If you do a required installation, if you do a required push to it. Yes. And so if they say no, it's not going to auto install those apps and stuff.
And then they also have to install it or approve it from their app store.
Yeah. So the main point on all of this is really just to say that you can, in fact, manage end users' personal devices, and you should treat that with respect and be very careful about what you're doing and what you're configuring, and put the right filters and all the right things in place to prevent you from screwing up people's personal devices. So
exactly,
kind of the main point there. We'll get into more of this, I'm sure, in the future, but we're already gone 30 minutes on this, so we can wrap it up. But that's doing personal device enrollment with iOS.
Awesome.
Anything else, Steve?
No, I think we covered everything there, Adam.
All right, dude. Well, thanks for playing. See you next time.
Thanks, team. Bye.